Hey everybody, this is our new show called The Hot Take. Uh, Today we have Cody Frederickson, who needs no introduction, poster boy of Portland, of course. No,
The fuck?
you won't take that one? All right, well,
I just wouldn't. I wouldn't put myself above an introduction, is what I'm saying.
oh, well, I think a lot of people who have been around know who you are. But for the people who don't yet, give us the 411.
I'm Cody Frederickson. On Slack, my name is Hype in the chat. If no one knew that, now you know. I don't know, what else should I talk about? What else should I say about myself? I play Killer Queen. I play Queen.
Yeah, oh yeah. So,
About it?
outside of that, did you always live in Portland? I hear you ran
I
from
don't
a
even live
place
in
called
Portland.
Beavertown.
I live in Beaverton, which you can see out that window. It's just very like suburbia, white
Yeah.
moms everywhere. It's about 30 minutes from Portland, but I work downtown, so that's how I found Killer Queen.
All right.
I work where the bar is at. But I used to live in Portland for a couple of years, and then I moved out here. And since I've been playing Killer Queen, I lived out here.
Yeah. And so that's out at Ground Control, right?
Yes,
Your awesome bar.
the only cab we have, which
Yeah.
is rare these days, I feel like.
Yeah, no, a lot of cities are seeing multiple cabs nowadays. A mix of private and public as well.
Mhm.
But your neighbors over in Seattle have, I think, 3 public machines now? Or
I
am I
heard they have 4.
4? Oh my gosh.
Might have a 4th one. 3 is definitely correct. 4 maybe. And like they got 3, or they got 2. One at Jupiter, which is a new bar, I guess, and then one at Coindexter's, which I think is another new bar. I'm not sure. I haven't been there.
Yeah.
But they have a lot of machines and a lot of people, surprisingly, too.
Huh. All right. Well, I noticed your shirt at the Cloud9. I'm guessing you're a bit of a gaming fan outside of Killer Queen.
Yeah,
So
I'm
what else?
sponsored by KQ.
What else are you? What else are you into outside of KQ?
Let's see. Outside of KQ, well, I'm looking at my Steam library right now just to see what I'm even playing. I played Dark Souls for a hot second. Love those games. Divinity. MOBAs are cool. DBZ Fighter's cool. Wow, I have a lot of games. PUBG's cool. They Are Billions is cool. I suck at it, so I don't play it anymore. And then
Yeah.
Siege is a terrible game, but really cool. There's not too much else I do outside of gaming, not gonna lie.
Did you do anything competitive for a while?
No.
No.
Like, I'd lie and say yes, but no. Like,
What's the lie? Where's the
I
lie?
would say, like, I would do competitive things on the same level KQ competitive is, like
Sure.
it's like a really small group of people. Like, I used to play fighting games occasionally in Portland when I used to live there.
Tight.
Yeah, they had like a venue for it, so I went there sometimes. But
Did
other than
you
that,
win,
no.
Did you win tournaments or?
Fuck no. I didn't enter any tournaments either. I think I entered one. No. There's when Skullgirls came out, I was really good at Skullgirls for some reason, and I still play it every once in a while. Hugo, if you're watching this, money match me. There was one time where they had like the only Portland Skullgirls tournament. I probably could have won it, but I just didn't go.
Huh.
And there was like people there like, why didn't you come to this? You could have won it. And I was like, who cares? It's a dumb game.
It's just cute and casual.
It's just a dumb weeb game.
Then outside of gaming, what are you into? Music, TV, movies, anything? Just like, what's on Cody's playlist?
My playlist. Let me open Spotify real quick.
You just let the internet tell you everything about you.
Yeah, I can't remember anything cool about myself. I just have all these apps that remind me what I like. I don't know. I don't really listen to anything particular genre-wise. It's all kind of background noise. When I go to Killer Queen tournaments, fun fact, when I go to Killer Queen tournaments, I have this crazy techno playlist that's just like generic EDM, like the most generic stuff, like festival EDM, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah, sure.
Where it's just like a giant buildup and then a drop and then some lyrics. And that shit is the best stuff to listen to at Killer Queen tournaments, especially like Up Down at BB2. It was the perfect background noise for the insanely loud music coming over the
Yeah, I've played with it a little bit.
system.
I don't have a whole lot of like go-to songs. I know Damish has his playlist. I think it's mostly
Of
like
course he does.
anime intro songs. Like those like are really hypey, you know?
I mean, like, I don't really like this music too much. I kind of do now that I've listened to it a bunch, but like, just whatever gets you hype works. I
Yeah.
know Helen from Chicago listened to September
Oh,
over and
Earth, Wind,
over.
and Fire.
Yeah, like, so whatever works. I mean, who cares?
Yeah, find your jam.
Get hyped for KQ.
Yeah. So then other favorites. Moving into the KQ world, favorite KQ meme of
Oh,
all
KQ
time,
specific.
alive or dead.
How obscure can I get?
You can go obscure
With
as long as you tell the
this.
story.
I'd say "Whoop My Ass" is probably the best one. Not gonna lie, and no one really knows about that except like Azul, me, and like a handful of other people.
Are you gonna spill the beans on this one or?
It was just like someone took commentary wrong on I don't even remember what tournament it was. Minneapolis specifically. There was like some hot takes back and forth.
Oh, okay.
And then I think it like escalated to Azul just calling someone out to kick the shit out of him. He just said "whoop my ass" at like no context or anything, and I just thought it was hilarious. And yeah, I don't know. That's all I can say when I see Azul now. Yeah, I'd say.
So
I
then,
was asking obscure. No one really knows about that one.
I mean, I know it got kicked around. It kind of rolls off the tongue. Just "whoop my ass," you know.
Yeah, no, it's a good one.
So then, I know you weren't a huge fan of Kiss Cody, but is that your least favorite KQ meme? Like, is that that's the worst one?
That one fucking sucks. And there's no need for a story on that. There's not even much of a story. It just started happening.
Yeah.
BB1, I definitely embraced it. That after party was a little crazy, but
yeah, I'm sure.
Fuck that meme.
I actually
Don't say that shit.
The after party and went and watched VODs. That was a mistake.
You're such a fucking loser.
Yeah, I was really tired, honestly. I was just done. My legs were like giving out.
Yeah, I was pretty exhausted. I got really, really drunk really, really quick. Caesar got really, really drunk. I got drunk with Caesar really, really quickly.
What? So I never really, since I wasn't there, I don't know like the severity of the Bumble Bash 1 party at the Charlotte house. Yeah. But a lot of memes came out of that one. We've got chalk, we've got shh.
Oh my god, the chalk. Okay, I lied. That is my favorite one. The shush, the shush meme. I take everything I said about "whoop my ass" back. That one is the best one. And shush both came from that party.
Yeah. All right, so I guess on the more serious note, there's been a lot of talk in Slack lately about where the meta is going, and I think everyone is kind of seeing the apocalypse in Speed Warriors. Can you give us your take on the Speed meta, as it might be called?
Yeah. So I think most people know, like, BB1, you started seeing, I think Chicago did it a lot more than any other scene. I mean, every scene started doing it, but Chicago was the one that like made it meta or like prove that it was good. So you would have just one person go speed and then they go warrior, then you just have one speed warrior. But now what you're seeing is more people give up the early pressure on the snail or something, or like whatever objective you're doing. And they send that person to like bump a gate and cover like any sort of warrior formations that happen like middle gate on day map, for example.
Yeah.
And then they cover the other drone, or they have one guy go speed, right? You have your main speed go first, and then you have two drones go mid, and then one of them is probably going to break off and go speed 2 after the speed warrior or the speed drone comes out. So basically, one speed warrior was guaranteed, but 2 is almost guaranteed now because queens don't really. I mean, if you look at like even BB1, there's some pretty aggressive openers from people, like people diving on mid gate, like all this like crossing over to the other side. But now it's more like just kind of hang out for like 10 seconds. That's kind of what queen openers are, is just do nothing or nothing, just like scrape at the top for a couple seconds and then get some more speed warriors forming up, or speed drones. And you do still have like one vanilla guarding gates to help those speed drones form. But I'd say like having like 3 vanillas is a bad idea now. Having 1 speed warrior is okay, but a lot of people try to shut down 2 speed, and it's just like really hard to do when people are getting better and better, and especially now that everyone can like tap easier. It's just super easy to get those other warriors out and kind of like protect them at your gates. I just think like more and more now we're gonna see double speed open. We're not gonna see speed gate openers because they're pretty unsafe. You still want like 1 vanilla warrior out, maybe 2, if you're going like full mill or something weird.
Yeah.
But I would say double speed open, 2 speed drones. Hell, even some people do like, instead of having the second drone go speed warrior, second speed drone go speed warrior, you just have them go to the snail, and then you have speed snail.
Right. Yeah.
So like it's kind of flexible in that way, because you don't, especially now that almost everyone can warrior, you kind of can have like objective speed warriors, I guess.
Yeah. No, yeah, I could see that in time. So let's say though, because openers will eventually get ironed out. Once people are all having the double speed open down, what can you do as the opposing team to counter that? Besides just, getting the same comp and then being better.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see any weaknesses in this comp?
So what I saw not you, I guess you weren't on that team, but what I saw Rob Newhouse do in Chicago was they would send him to the speed gate on Daymap specifically. Like, it's crazy for a drone to end up there.
Yeah.
But you might, I think before it was like Queens, I think like the double speed meta, like mid late game, double speed's gonna happen. Triple speed, that's when triple speed happens, like triple speed warriors, and like then no one's having fun. But like in the beginning, we're probably gonna see like more drone play, like bump setups and stuff like that. Like I wouldn't be surprised if we started seeing like on Dusk especially, like 2 drones go through the wrap to the enemy speed gate or something like that. And I think like drone openers are just like more interesting now than queen openers, because I really don't think anything's going to change about queen openers. They kind of, 2 of the maps have stayed the same, basically the same since the game, I don't know, got popular or got to like a competitive level.
Sure. Day
and night. And then Dusk, you're seeing it now. It's just people go hang out in the wrap. It's not anything too crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of it is like, where can the drones go? Because I think especially with the whole jump the gun mechanic or whatever you want to call it, where you like, to time your jump with the countdown so your head just so ever so slightly. Like we just might see 2 drones wrap to the other side and like try to bump people out of gates and stuff, instead of like before the mindset was, oh my god, get the queen over there so she can tag it and they can't use it. Now it's more like queens hang out, drones go somewhere.
So as the game progresses, you mentioned people are looking for that triple speed composition. Do you think queens are going to start focusing on the speed gates more often, or is it still going to be this kind of warrior gate control game?
I think it's like, so look at Domish, right? Like everyone's like, wow, how does Domish get warriors up? Well, he kind of just sits on a gate and people fall into him, or he picks them off, right? I think warrior gates are more guaranteed than people think they are. I think speed gates are the harder ones to defend if people are actually pushing for them. And yeah, I would like to see queens more aggressively, in myself included, tag speed gates, or like take them as a priority over warrior gates, because that might be the like flow chart way to think about it now. Sure. Before it was like tag gates if you have nothing to do, tag speed gates. Now it might be tag speed gates if you have nothing to do, tag warrior gates. Because ideally you just have warriors guarding the gates, and then you just like queen and a drone are trying to go to a speed gate. It's way more telegraphed too.
Right.
When they're trying to go for a speed gate. So I think like it's easier to punish too. And all the places where the speed gates are really, really bad spots for a queen to. Now that I'm thinking about this, speed gates are in a terrible spot for people to fight in.
Right.
I'm having like a realization while I'm talking about this.
Sure.
Like, okay, think of like night map speed gates. That place sucks.
Yeah.
Like no one's comfortable fighting there, because you're like constantly in a wrap And
Right.
especially if you're getting 50-50, you're going to get bounced through the wrap a million times. So, yeah, I think like pincering the queen around speed gates is almost a more guaranteed kill than pincering around warrior gates. Because I'd rather hang around a warrior gate than a speed gate.
Yeah.
To answer your question, yes. I think people are going to start aggressively tagging speed gates more. And I think they should take a higher priority than warrior gates.
Higher than currently or higher period? Like speed gates first and then warrior gates? Or just like bridge the gap a bit?
I would say not like higher priority overall. It's still important to have, you know, like if they have no warriors, fucking tag all the speed gates or all the warrior gates, duh.
Sure.
But there's always like that weird moment where like they have a warrior, they're trying to get another warrior up, you know?
Yeah.
That's like the moment you should be going for speed gates, I think. Like speed gets picked up in the weird like downtime between gate control plays, if you want to call them that. People are really sneaky with speed sometimes. And it's kind of like, especially night map, it's usually like, hey, we need to like take a breather for a sec, go tag speed gates and get everyone's speed.
Yeah.
Or get one person speed. And day map too, because it's so far out of the way from everything. But yeah, I'd say they should take more priority than people give them now. Because yeah, like I said, like it's usually you tag all warrior gates, then you think about speed gates. But maybe you need to do like a weird, maybe you like control one side of the map and you don't think about like tag all 3 warrior gates and then 2 speed gates, but you think like only control this part of the map, like, you know, like their hives here and you just control everything past it.
Cool.
Including the speed. I don't know.
Yeah, more
we'll
like
see.
Time will tell, I guess. If people start shifting priorities, we'll see different strats and we'll see what wins out. Yeah. More generally in the meta, with the recent patch, and now I guess it's been a few months, we might be able to see berries making a comeback. Not to say that they weren't totally wiped out, but what are your thoughts on the whole snail versus berry balance right now, state of the game?
Okay, so I have a question for you. Do you think the patch we're playing on now, when was the last coronation? Because that was played on like the new patch, right? Like the newest or one of the newer ones?
Yeah, December or January, I think.
And that one didn't have drone sticks in it, right?
That might have been like hot fixed like the day before. I'm not sure.
Okay. I think a lot of like berry viability and like just berries in general being good now is just like they buff the fuck out of drones.
Yeah.
Like not only that they can like bump pretty reliably now, but also like especially night map, you're constantly falling. If you get the juke on the warrior, you can just bounce off their head and go in the hive. Or like I feel like sometimes when I'm watching games, there's just some warriors that can't stop like 2-3 berry runners from going in. I think at a higher level play, I don't think berries are better than snail still, but I think like if you watch KQ 23 and you watch New Guy specifically, and you watch, I think it was the Dusk map to reset Grand Finals.
Yeah.
He's running split strat the entire time. Berries and snail, and like the snail's on their side of the map the entire time, but this guy's figuring like he's just, oh, I'm gonna get cleared, I'm just gonna run a berry and I'm gonna run a safe berry, I don't care if it's a top or bottom. And then eventually it just got to like, holy crap, they need 2 berries to win, and you kind of can only do so much on Dusk.
For sure.
But I think like the multitude of drone buffs, like so you can jump on people's heads super easy now. You can bump people. The stick is back for drones, especially. So like you just ideally won't die as much as you were before. Like I think when the patch first came out, drones were dying way more than they should have, and they kind of felt bad. Besides the whole bumping mechanic being a little different, but also berry delivery time got buffed for whatever reason. And I think there's people playing now that still don't realize that's a thing. But you come out of the hive way fast now.
Yeah, I think Charles proposed that like a while ago, and Josh implemented it, and then they just kind of left it in there.
Yeah, it's a good change, but it's like it's really underrated for how good it is.
Yeah, no, for
like
sure.
no one really talks about that when they talk about berries being buffed.
Yeah.
But I would say like in terms of viability, day map, that's always going to be the Snail military map. Unless you add some vertical wrap, it's never going to be the same. We all thought the little ledge at the top, we all thought that would help. Nope, didn't really help at all. Why would it? Now that I think about it, the problem with day map berries is that it's such a long, shitty trek to jump up there.
Yeah.
Whereas night map, you're constantly falling. You have wraps. You have like 4 different ways you can get into the hive pretty easily, or 4 different routes you could take.
Mm-hmm.
Dusk map, it's just you have like the constant pressure of do you go top or bottom berries. Also, like the top of Dusk map is such a safe place for the queen to play, and they can just clear the ledge so easy from up there.
Yeah.
It's a pretty lame map, but all criticism aside, whatever. That's why they're good on that map too. But yeah, I would say night map and dusk map. Night map more than dusk map is very viable now, and I would say like 3-1 berries is very viable on a night map. Everyone wants to do 2-2, but I think 3-1's the way to go, in my opinion.
Yeah. And people are, I guess, experimenting with that a bit. Giving up that military pressure can be pretty tough. Going down to 2-2's composition.
Yeah, that's always been the problem with 2-2, and that's why 2-2 got really bad really, really quick. I think KQX is probably the last time you see 2-2 being like the majority strategy. I might be wrong on that. There's probably like another Chicago tournament where they run 2-2 a lot. But it just, Warriors got really good. Like, why wouldn't you just have more things that can kill people and like, especially if you're going 2-2 and you lose one warrior early, that's so much pressure on your one warrior that's supposed to be, let's say you lose like the warrior that's trying to clear the hive the entire time. So now you got your ledge guard who's the only one, and he's just a sitting duck in the hive.
Yeah.
This is terrible.
Right. Yeah, so I guess moving away from the meta a bit, what do you think people don't get about KQ? You've been playing for a while. You've had quite a bit of success at different tournaments. What's the secret? What's the secret sauce?
Fucking get good. I don't really think there's like a secret. I feel like just overall working as a team is probably the best thing. There's a lot of like emphasis on like, oh, the queen is like the playmaker, blah 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 blah. You're nothing without a good queen. But I mean, I don't think that's true anymore. Like, well, of course you have to have like a pretty good queen to like get far in a tournament. But I would say like you guys definitely showed a BB1 that like you can't just have all these like 1v1 fights and expect to win them all. You need like 2 people pincering the queen, 2 people pincering warriors, 2 people pincering like drones the entire time. I would say like there's just not enough team play dynamic in Killer Queen. Like especially with more and more pickup teams, you see like people scrambling for what they should be doing, people going Speed Warrior when they should be running Snail, or like you just don't see as the like cohesion and like teamwork aspect, I guess. And not saying I do that good or anything. I definitely don't. But I'd say that's like what propels teams further than like just individual skill.
Yeah. I mean, just looking at Bumble Bash 2, I think a lot of people might have expected girls to take out my wife. But whenever I was watching, I noticed that my wife really had kind of this team kind of ethos about them.
Yeah, they played together a lot. They practiced together all the time. If you watched any of Chicago was streaming all the time before BB2, and they played together a lot, and they were really scary together a lot. And you got Dre shot calling, and he's pretty good at calling shots, and Helen killing stuff, Megan's killing stuff. Spencer was like the sleeper OP person on that team. Like, I still think Spencer's like one of the best warriors in Chicago. He's really good.
Yeah.
And then you had Rishi. Like, Jesus Christ, that is one scary ass team.
Yeah. So with Grols, did you have well-defined roles in your team, or was it kind of just Neil will get speed, 2 people will be warriors, and someone will run the Snail?
So Grols had I wouldn't call it a problem, but we had Matt and Neil, and they're both really, really good speed warriors.
Yeah.
And I don't know which one I'd rather have. I mean, I've played with Neil more, so maybe I'd lean towards Neil. But we kind of did the thing I was mentioning earlier, where Neil would be first speed 100% every single time. Like, if we have to get a speed warrior out, Neil is the one to get out. And then Matt would be second speed, and usually he went he would just go somewhere to like bump. He would, let's use Daymap because it's easy.
Yeah.
He would go mid gate to bump drones that went there. And if he died, whatever, then he just goes and gets speed. But he would usually bump middle and then jump to speed right afterwards. And then usually Logan is probably, I would call him an anchor warrior if you want to give it a term. Like if we got wiped, or I felt like we got wiped, Logan's probably still alive. Sure. And Logan's probably like defending Snail or something. Yeah. He just never dies. So we wanted him to be first warrior or first vanilla warrior, or he felt like the most reliable one. And then Javen was our fourth or fifth, and he also ran Snail a lot, but he also went warrior a lot. We really wanted to push the flex strategy where you have like, okay, we don't have Snail control, let's have Javen go warrior, speed warrior or vanilla warrior. He could do either. Yeah. And I mean, like, and then past the opener, pretty much everyone on my team could go speed. Like, it didn't matter. They were all good at it. But yeah, I'd say we had predetermined roles in the opener, but from then on, I mean, there's 5 of us playing the game, and like, I trust their judgment enough. Like, there were times where people called for like, there's sometimes where Neil's running Snail.
Right. Sure.
Because that was just the right thing to do. Or I think Neil was running berries at one point too, on night map or something.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the whole team thing I was talking about, where like you have usually people think the queen's this one shot calling stuff, but I can't watch the entire map. So getting 4 other people that can actually like contribute and call out stuff is super helpful, I think.
So do you think that style, this more like distributed, kind of decide on your own style, is going to win out? Or do you think we're going to see more teams starting to find more defined roles like Teamwork had, or like evidently my wife had?
I mean, it's interesting because everyone wants to push this like flexible. Everyone thinks like, the flexible strategy, having like a drone that can also go warrior or go speed warrior is like the way to go, right?
Yeah.
But if you look at BB1 and BB2, you guys win every single time just having, I mean, Carissa did go warrior, but I'd say most of the time she's just bumping or she's running Snail. Like, dedicated drone is what a lot of people call it.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, not that that's bad or like the not optimal way. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think we all could be a lot better about optimal plays and like optimal positioning and Killer Queen and all that you want to talk about.
Sure.
But I'd say this year we're definitely like, we're going to see a lot more like teams where everyone can do everything. And it's really hard to carry in Killer Queen now more than ever. I don't think I mean, like the early days you could definitely carry if you were just better than people, like especially Queen. But I would say 2018, you're going to see a lot of people really pushing the flex strategy. Mm-hmm. But I still think there's room in a case for the dedicated drone thing, because I'm kind of curious to see if they buff drones again, because we just kind of complain about them in Slack all the time.
Right.
And if they buff drones again, then they'll be really good, and having a dedicated drone might be the way to go. I mean, you see Rob Newhouse do it a lot. I think Rob's probably the best drone that plays this game right now. KQ 20, was it 23? Yeah, 23, the recent one. He's like everywhere. Like, I felt like he was more annoying than Warriors most of the time, because he was just out of gates all of a sudden, and he was bumping people out, and then he was on the Snail again with speed or something, and he's just pushing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say, I don't know. I feel like both work, and it kind of just depends on your team, which you run. Mm-hmm. A lot of Chicago teams will probably be good at the whole like 4 potential warriors, and then maybe one person dedicated to the Snail. Mm-hmm. If they're not warrior, just because they have a lot of good warriors. Yeah. And like Pigeon Rats is a good example too, from New York, mm-hmm. where like everyone on that team's pretty scary as warrior, and they do full mill pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And they're pretty scary to go against full mill. So I don't know, it's hard to say what's optimal. I mean, like, you can say Snail's better than berries on this map.
Sure.
But as far as like, KQ is such a weird game where like, it's not like MOBAs where there's like mid or like early, mid, late game where there's like carries scaling differently and stuff. It's kind of just like a constant fight.
Yeah.
So I think it maybe just like people getting better at calling shots in the moment is what we're gonna see. Because outside the opener, you can't guarantee anything that's gonna happen.
Yeah. So you mentioned carrying roles, and you mentioned MOBAs as well. If there is one, do you think that there's a carry in Killer Queen? And if so, what is it?
It'd probably be Speed Warriors. If I had to give a like a comparison.
Yeah, I
like
think
Queens are support, Speed Warriors are carries, and then I don't know.
I mean that's about where I'd come down to it. I know some people will say that the Queen is a bit of a carry, but that might be more old-fashioned, I guess. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't think Queen's kind of boring to play the better you get at it, in my opinion. And like you start realizing there's less and less you really can affect.
Yeah.
Especially to say you have no warriors. There's really nothing you can do except try to get warriors up. Kills aren't even guaranteed at that point. I mean, you just kind of, and you only have 3 lives. Like what all can you really do?
Right. So then I guess to take it more, just looking at your plans and goals for the future. I know you're going to GDC, I think.
Yep.
Are you playing with Andy's team, the Washed Up Queens team, or no?
I am not. I got asked to play on that team, but I already had a team when I got asked.
Wow.
My bad. Sorry, Andy.
Is that your usual core, or are you mixing it up a bit? I feel like you usually run with like the same. I don't know. Usually you've got Neil or Logan.
No, I'm not playing with them. For GDC, I'm playing with Haley from Portland, Asher from Portland, Feldkamp from Kansas City, and then Billy from Kansas City.
Oh, exciting!
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
You talk a lot about quitting Killer Queen. Do you have any actual plans to like hang up the Queen crown and leave ground control forever, or?
No, probably not. I mean, I like taking. I think I just like taking breaks from the game.
Yeah.
To be honest. Like anytime there's a major tournament, I usually take a week or 2 off and then come back, and I'm usually about the same where I left, but a little rusty. But I don't know. I don't think anyone really forgets how to play Killer Queen. Especially as people get better, it's just more about like team play and stuff like that.
Yeah. All right.
But no, I don't want to quit.
Good. I'm glad we'll have you around then. So I'm gonna try something different. I'm calling the show the Hot Take. So I'm gonna throw some warm up hot takes at you. It's just A or B. It's not like who wins or like which one you like more. You just pick one.
Okay.
So we'll try to keep this with like a faster pace, like kind of like a lightning round.
All right.
So let's rock and roll. Dayberries or 3 Speed Warriors?
3 Speed Warriors.
Private cab or public cab?
Private cab.
$1 bills or $2 bills?
$1 bills.
Kiss Cody or don't slap the cab?
Don't slap the cab.
Wonderful wheat or hype in the chat?
Wonderful wheat.
Wilkening or Nathan Palmer?
I don't know. Nathan Palmer, Napalm. It's a pretty sick name. Sorry, you don't unless you get a cool nickname like that.
The Kings of Slack, Joel or Paul?
Ooh. Paul. Maybe. I don't
know. Who's more new guy or Newman?
Newman.
Subway tuna or not Subway tuna?
Not Subway tuna.
Oh, thank God.
It's not even a special on Fridays anymore, you fucking sick people.
Are people still posting Subway tuna? I don't know.
All I saw is that it's not a special anymore, so no. Tuna Gang's dead.
Good. So I have 3 more hot takes that I want to run by you. These are going to be a little more hard pressing. First off, let's think about in the context of KQ XXV, which is the big show coming up. Who's going to perform better, Minneapolis or Columbus?
I'm inclined to say Minneapolis, but I don't think Columbus is going to do bad.
So you think for reasons of depth or just like the highest position?
I think if you went highest position, I'd say Minneapolis probably wins because I mean they just got third in Chicago, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how much that team practiced together. I mean, I know a few components of that team played together a lot. It was kind of Minnesota Mean from BB2. I think Chaco was actually the only one. So basically Minnesota Mean. But
I think Jay Sisk was also a swap.
Oh, yeah. That team's really good. And then Minneapolis just won Phoenix. Like, not convincing. They did get reset in grand finals, but they were really, really, really good at that tournament. And that was Fonz Shalway. I think that's how you say it. And I think Jay wasn't on that team either, but he subbed in, and that team was terrifying.
Wait, so you said Shalway?
Yeah, I think that's how you say it.
Oh, geez. Okay.
It's like that weird name they keep using.
Yeah.
It's a Bayhas, but they use like a different name every single time.
For sure.
Or they use Fon Shalway now, and I think that's how you say it.
Yeah. What were you gonna say? Sorry.
Not that Columbus is bad. I think Columbus is actually really good. They have no one knows about this because there's not like save footage of it anywhere as far as I know, which kind of sucks because it was a really good set. But they took us to game 5, Bumble Bash 1 right out the gate.
Oh yeah.
Like they could have sent us to losers very easily. That was not an easy set at all. That was pretty terrifying. They're pretty damn good. That was Blake, Matt, Carlos, Hell, and Craig.
Yeah. That's the old CBUS 5, I guess.
Yeah. If that team goes to 25, they might wreck shit. And like there was a couple other Columbus teams at BB2 that were pretty damn good for how I don't know if they were new players, but like I didn't see them at Bumble Bash 1 or I don't remember them.
Yeah.
So I think Minneapolis has the depth needed to like get good, and they also just have a bigger scene. Columbus is just weird because they have like, I mean, I assume they play on that private cab at close quarters more than they play at the arcade, which arcades are the way to like grow your scene.
Yeah.
But I think Minneapolis would outplace Columbus.
All right.
Maybe not if that 5 team that played a BB2 plays together again. But I don't think Columbus is bad. They're definitely good at the game. But I think Minneapolis is just like, I don't know what it is about them. I feel like at a certain point you just can't stop them.
Yeah.
Like I think they just like ride the hype harder than anyone else does. They just all of a sudden go Super Saiyan and you can't beat them.
Yeah.
They're weird. They're crazy.
So the next hot take I'm going to throw at you again for 25. Full Snail University or Pigeon Rats?
Ooh. Do those two teams, did they keep the same roster? Both those teams?
Snail is holding onto the same roster. Pigeon Rats, I think, is maintaining everyone except Kevin. I don't know if they've got the replacement for that yet.
Okay. Well, I thought Kevin was really good on Pigeon Rats.
Yeah.
So that might make things interesting. I think I want to say, I don't know. I feel like Full Snail, this patch might play to them more because they were running Duskberries sometimes at a Bumble Bash 2.
Yeah.
Which was really, really weird because back then they weren't good or they weren't as good. So maybe this patch plays to them more. Mm-hmm. But I just talked about how Pigeon Rats does like the full mill thing really good, but that was with Kevin too. If I had to pick one in a best of 5, I'd probably say Pigeon Rats.
Oh, all right.
But I think FSU. I just feel like they're pretty good. You can't ever count them out.
Yeah.
But you also can count. I'd say those two are pretty equal, but I'd give the inch to Pigeon Rats just because they're better at full mill and what the meta actually caters towards.
So this next question, I need a little bit of background. Who's on Pizza on My Nikes?
Okay, so Pizza on My Nikes is me, Dylan Conrad, Aaron Goldberg, Feldkamp, and Joel from Portland.
Okay, so then the question was going to be Dylan or Andrew Quang, but I guess now it's Pizza on My Nikes or Andrew Quang at 25.
Who's Andrew playing with?
I don't know yet. I don't know. Then the question's Dylan versus Quang. Now you've got to choose between those two.
Well, the only time Pizza's played against Andrew won, so I guess I'd just say Andrew.
And answer to stand the test of time.
But Pizza's going to be good. I think the thing about that team is Well, there was only 2 maps back then, but I played night map and Dylan played day map. We would switch queens every game.
Yeah.
And that really messed with a lot of people.
Like opponent teams or your teammates?
Both. Like that was also weird because we had Feldkamp running berries too. Like he wasn't new, but like Aaron got to go Speed Warrior over him.
Sure.
And like I was going Warrior. I don't play that shit. So it'll be better this time.
All right.
And we've already done this once, so we already know what it's going to be like. And I don't know. We'll do good.
Well, you're saying it's going to be better, but you're not saying it's going to be good enough to beat Quang.
Going off past history, sure, yeah. But I don't know. Can't get too cocky, I guess.
All right. Well, that's all the hot takes I have.
Those are pretty hot.
I
Some
hope
of them.
so. That's really all I've got. Is there anything else you want to tell the KQ people out there?
No. Just kidding. Come to Bumble Bash, and it's probably in October. I don't think there's a date yet. Soon, maybe. I don't know.
Soon.
That's all I really got. We're not hosting anything in Portland, so don't come to Portland if you're not coming for Bumble Bash.
Yeah, no camp this year.
Yeah, maybe next year. I don't know. I don't control that. But
do you think KQ makes it to 2019?
No, that's a hot take. I didn't think it'd make it to 2018. I thought we were all going to quit after BB2, so probably, yeah. It'll probably make it. Who knows what it'll be like? I don't really know what's going to happen. The game's kind of been the same for a really long time, and I don't know how much more people are going to be able to play it.
Yeah, we'll see. You know, there's new cities getting cabs, and
yeah, maybe like cities just fill in the cities that don't play anymore or play as much. I don't really know.
Yeah.
But that's also assuming all those cities get to the same level other cities get to, I guess.
Yeah. Well, time will tell, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for chatting with me. Hopefully this is the content that the KQ people want. I guess.
Hopefully.
I
don't
guess
flame me on Slack, or do it anyway. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll happen.
Don't flame Wokening, flame me.
Just flame everyone, honestly, at this point.
Yeah, at channel.
All right, it's been great chatting with you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. All right.